If they're sleeping quietly, peace will remain around. But if they wake up, the situation can be devastating. We're talking about volcanoes. It is quite known to all that volcanic eruptions can be disastrous and harmful. They can eject heated tephra clouds from a volcano's side or top, and that is nothing less than a nightmare. Today in this video, we will talk about the Yellowstone Volcano, which is at the edge of waking up. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll take you through the insane Yellowstone Volcano and show you the real truth behind the news of its imminent eruption. But before we begin, if you're new to this channel, join us by subscribing and press the bell icon to never miss a video from us. Without further ado, let's start. So basically what happens if a volcano erupts? The flaming clouds from the volcano tear up mountain slopes, obliterating nearly everything in their path. When ash erupts into the sky, it returns to Earth as fine snow. It could be far more dangerous. The most famous geyser, Old Faithful, in west central Yellowstone National Park erupts on average every 90 minutes. Let's have a look at Yellowstone. Around 1,150 of the 1,350 blooming plant species, all of which are native to Yellowstone, have been identified. The park is mostly covered in forest, with lodgepole pines making up about 4 out of every 5 trees. The heat rising from below the surface is obvious. It is evident everywhere you look, including in the boiling mud pools, vibrant hot springs, and steaming geysers erupt. As many of us know, the oldest, largest, and maybe most well-known national park in the country is Yellowstone National Park. It is primarily located in northwest Wyoming, with a little portion in southern Montana and eastern Idaho. The world's highest concentration of hydrothermal characteristics can be found there. The first national park in the nation was created on March 1, 1872. Additionally, Yellowstone was designated a World Heritage Site in 1978 and a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve in 1976. The park, which is 3,472 square miles in size and has an uneven eastern edge, is 63 miles from north to south and 54 miles from east to west at its widest point. Outside of Alaska, the park has the largest collection of mammals in the country with over 50 different species. The largest mammal, the bison or buffalo, has been saved from extinction. And in the shadows of Yellowstone National Park is one of the planet's most deadly volcanoes. Over the past 16 million years, the massive Yellowstone hotspot, also known as the Yellowstone supervolcano, has erupted at least 10 times, irreversibly changing the topography of North America. However, it had an impact all around the planet since it occasionally changed the climate and sent ash flakes flying through the air. Scientists claim that the new finding completely rewrites the past of the hotspot. Let me tell you that super eruptions are the biggest, most catastrophic of these eruptions. A simmering supervolcano, a heat source that has caused some of the world's largest eruptions, is what powers all that activity. Nearly half of the land was covered in the fine dust left behind by the last super eruption, which occurred around 631,000 years ago and ejected 240 cubic miles of pulverized rock and ash into the atmosphere. Deep cracks in the region's crust allow for groundwater to flow down to the point where it comes into touch with the magma. In the form of steam vents, fumaroles, vibrant hot pools, mud cauldrons, paint pots, hot springs and terraces, hot rivers and geysers, the superheated and mineral-rich water then rises to the surface. Under your feet lies a massive magma reservoir that dwarfs any known magma chamber and is filled with hot, sponge-like rock and some molten rock. The results show that the chamber contains enough scorching hot magma that can fill the Grand Canyon more than 11 times. While surveying the supervolcano's subsurface plumbing system, researchers found the chamber. The 45 by 30 mile caldera of Yellowstone, which is about the size of Rhode Island, is being studied by scientists who believe that the subsurface system will likely give hints decades ago before it erupts, and that won't likely happen for thousands of years. There are no signs that the subsurface seismic orchestra of snap, crackle, and pop is likely to become more intense. And now, scientists claim that the new finding completely rewrites the past of the hotspot. On the Volcanic Explosivity Index, or VAI, which gauges a volcano's relative explosivity by the height of its ash column and the volume of its remaining lava, these earth-shaking explosions score an 8 or higher. The past 10 years have seen a fever pitch of documentaries, online articles, and amateur videos that point to Yellowstone's frequent minor earthquakes or false rumors that the ground is swelling upward as signs that the volcano's time bomb is ticking down. This long view has been partially drowned out by these media. The world would die as a result, according to the most radical of these conspiracies. But what will really happen? The countless fissures and crevices in the ground that may otherwise become blocked with minerals that precipitate out of the hot water as it cools are considered to be kept open by the region's steady stream of tiny tremors. Many of the park's 300-plus geysers reach heights of at least 100 feet 30 meters when they erupt. If an eruption occurs, the massive magma chamber may amplify the phenomenon, causing more devastation and spreading to farther reaches of the world. Fortunately, there is no need for concern because the likelihood of an incident occurring is 1 in 700,000. Such warnings, according to experts, are flawed because they disregard important information about how volcanoes function and extrapolate results from the volcano's previous eruptions to predict what it would erupt next. Those rumblings are one of the telltale signs that a massive volcano is dormant under the surface. However, the earthquakes do not pretend a major eruption is imminent. Regular earthquakes may serve as a safety valve to release pressure before it accumulates. In addition, it would likely take decades before Yellowstone blew its top, according to Christy Till, an assistant professor of geology at Arizona State University who has studied the volcano for the past 6 years. Furthermore, an eruption at Yellowstone is not yet overdue. Volcanoes do not function in predictable ways, and they don't have predictable eruption cycles. However, the volcano is not overdue for an eruption based on mathematical calculations. Yellowstone had 3 significant eruptions, 2.08, 1.3, and 0.631 million years ago. This equals an average interval between eruptions of around 725,000 years. Most volcanic systems that experience super eruptions do not do so repeatedly. If a volcanic system experiences multiple super eruptions, they're not always spaced out equally in time. Though scientists don't believe that Yellowstone will ever experience another catastrophic eruption, it is possible. It is uncertain if there is even enough magma beneath the caldera to support an eruption because the rhyolite magma chamber beneath Yellowstone is only 5 to 15% liquid. The remainder is hardened but remains hot. Any warning indicators would appear long in advance of an eruption, but they aren't present at the moment. The park would experience numerous powerful earthquakes, the ground would shift by tens of feet over months or years as the magma beneath moved about, gases would be released from the earth, the chemicals in the springs would alter, and additional heat would be produced. It's entirely possible that those circumstances won't ever return. Ilya Beidman, a professor of geology at the University of Oregon who has studied Yellowstone's caldera for 20 years, believes that the supervolcano may be dying. A portion of the crust is melted with each supereruption, but as the crust hardens, it becomes more challenging to produce enough heat to remelt the material. Now, in the worst case, if this happens, what will be the ultimate consequence? Fairly anticipated that both during and after the explosion, millions of people would perish. Over the nation, ash would fall, halting aviation travel. The country's heartland would be unfarmable for years. The water would be poisoned, the livestock would perish, the harvests would fail, and so on. Ash would alter the climate since it would block the sun's point of rays, and it would take years or perhaps decades for it to recover. Although some fear a global extinction-level event, a large eruption at Yellowstone or one of the other dozen supervolcanoes on the planet would not be on that level. Though if it's worth mentioning, visitors to national parks never seem to refrain from approaching wildlife so closely. Moreover, every year, potential visitors to the national park, which hosts more than 4 million visitors annually, call the park office to ask if going there would put them at risk. And apart from all this, we have something really interesting to share with you all. Scientists got some extraordinary pieces of evidence from this park. A peculiar species of microorganisms discovered living inside rocks in a harsh geothermal environment at Wyoming's Yellowstone National Park, according to researchers, may offer exciting new hints about ancient life on Earth and guide the search for signs of life on Mars. It'll be great if we can make Mars habitable or find signs of life. Just think about it. While Yellowstone National Park poses a huge threat of supervolcano eruption, it has given us something that'll lead us to life. And here we have come to the end. Tell us what you think about this supervolcano in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, then please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more such exciting content. See you in the next video.